Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're reviewing a base model CX-90, aka Mazda's affordable 3-row SUV. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Orem Mazda here in Orem, Utah for giving me some time with this CX-90. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check what they have currently. If you have any questions, just ask for Jordan. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a turbocharged 3.3 liter inline 6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 24 around town and then 28 on the highway, with power outputs being 280 horsepower and then 332 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you can see it's got the CX-90's normal hood where it's flat there in the center and then kind of falls off on either side. And then the headlight design of the CX-90 is pretty interesting. You've got the chrome trim here on the grille, including the Mazda logo. And then notice a lot of these elements are just kind of exposed plastic on the bottom. And putting it all together, for a base model, this actually looks pretty dang premium. Now around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 265, 55, 19 in the front and over in the rear. You guys can see with the wheels, you've got the silver there, which again looks pretty sharp. Chunky fender flare, and then notice that bodywork continues on the side. And then you have your little inline 6 badge there. And then notice the mirrors and door handles are actually body painted. And then here's your full side view with this CX-90. Now taking a look at the key fob, we have our Mazda logo here, and then your lock and unlock function. We also have the opening for the hatch as well. Now taking a look at the cargo area, you guys can see that we've got a decent amount of space here in the back. We also have some charging ports there as well. You can fold the third row down if you want even more space. And then when you're all done, just press this, and that will lower the hatch right back down. Cool taillight design here with the CX-90. Then you guys can see your Skyactiv G badge, and then your CX-90 badge on the other side. And putting it all together, let me know what you guys think about the looks here with the entry-level CX-90. Now, popping inside, you've got some like cloth trim here, and then you can see the soft touch down below, and this is interesting with that trim that goes across. Now, I've already popped in the back of the third row of the CX-90 quite a few times. First off, these seats are actually pretty nice looking for third row seats in an entry-level car, that's for sure. But you guys can see legroom's a little bit more on the cramped side of things, so just like most 3-row crossovers, SUVs, I would reserve it for kids. And taking a look at the second row, has that same cool design. This is surprising, it's not cloth. Most manufacturers do cloth at this price point. And then legroom back here is good for the second row. Got a little storage pocket, vents here in the back. We actually still have our own climate zone if the camera will focus on it. Some USBs as well. And then headroom, it's good. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you've got more of that cloth trim here, and then you can see the trim on the side, and then soft touch where you're going to rest your arm. All of our window controls, get your mirror adjustments, and then here's a quick look at the mirrors. And then take a look at the front seat again, that nice trim all down the center, and yeah, again, the seat's pretty premium. Got your power adjustments on the side, and then we got this for the hatch, your traction control, and then your iStop feature, and then you can see the trim there, and then the dash is actually soft touch. Now take a look at the steering wheel. You got soft touch all around. We actually still have paddle shifters in the back, interestingly enough. You also have adaptive cruise control. You've got your voice command, phone controls, volume controls, all of that on the other side. And then your regular stocks here on the back. Now with this version of the CX-90, we have the partially digital, partially analog gauge cluster. Still have the 3 drive modes, sport, normal, and off-road. And I think it looks good. Still have a regular backup camera with trajectory lens that apparently don't turn the steering wheel, but resolution with it's decent. Quite a bit of glare though right now, sorry about that. As for the infotainment system, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the camera to focus on that. We'll try. It's not a touchscreen, everything's controlled via a dial. It's like other modern Mazdas. It does take a second to get used to it, but once you get used to it, you get used to it. This trim across the dash is pretty cool looking. And then look at that, still have a nice finish with the vent trim, so it looks premium. Anyways, we've got our dual zone climate controls up front, and you guys can see storage there, and then you got your drive mode select, which still has a nice finish on it. Cup holders, and then you got the nice shifter here with your hill descent control. And then we've got our analog controls here for the infotainment, well, the only controls rather for the infotainment system. Your parking brake, your auto hold, and then got storage in the center console. Nice padding on the top, and then glove box, yeah, pretty good. And then no center for anything like that. And then we get to the impressive part, which is the pricing. So 2024 CX-90, total MSRP, $40,970. This is a really good value. Anyways, let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood, both the mirrors, do a blind spot monitoring, do the rest of the rear, and, well, let us set off in the base model CX-90. I'm driving this back to back with a Turbo S CX-90. If you don't know, that's like the loaded up $60,000 version. So I guess we'll see what the experience is like when you spend over $24,000 less on a CX-90. First off, I will say what I'm noticing with the seats is that seat comfort's not really all that different. The load up one has cooler looking seats, but they're not more comfortable. That feels about the same. Ride quality also feels super similar between both of the vehicles, so that is also interesting. The engine does feel different. So the Turbo S engine, it definitely feels torquier. So that's cool that you can actually perceive the difference between the powertrains. I wouldn't think that would be a thing, so it's cool that that's actually a thing. It's comfortable. I mean, in terms of the driving dynamics, it honestly doesn't feel too different. The biggest difference seems to be more so with basically the interior layout, and then also like the looks on the exterior. That seems to be a much bigger part of the difference, more so than anything else. Interesting, so the iStop will activate even when the car is not at a full stop. And there it is again. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, you can turn off the iStop if you don't like it, but that's cool that it does like the rolling stop there. But yeah, I mean, what I'm kind of noticing so far here is a big part of what you pay for with that loaded up one is quicker car, nicer looking interior. This still looks very premium though. And a nicer looking exterior as well, but it seems like the driving dynamics are pretty dang similar. But we are finally moving because this minivan thinks that you can't make a right turn at a red light. You can make a right turn after you've stopped. Anyways, again, not as quick as the Turbo S, but it's still very powerful for this, especially for this segment. So to cap things off with this base model CX-90, this is a dang good value. It really is. I think it looks great. I think it drives really well. And this is a premium feeling vehicle for $40,000 three-row SUV. The average brand new car is $47,000, so this is $7,000 less expensive. I think it's quite a bit of car. So if you're looking for a three-row SUV and you want something that feels like you're getting more value per dollar, this really does provide that. And so yeah, I think the base CX-90, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with what Mazda's doing.